The alien nurse injected me, then whispered, humans were meant for this HFY. Adam had always known the stars were vast, endless, and far beyond anything a single human could truly understand. As a freelance explorer, he had spent years drifting from one planet to another, uncovering forgotten histories and lost civilizations. But nothing could have prepared him for the fateful crash that left him stranded on a remote, uncharted world. It was supposed to be a routine mission. Adam had been tasked with surveying the planet, a lifeless, rocky world located at the edge of the galaxy. The readings from his ship were all normal, the scans showed little interference, nothing seemed off. But then everything went wrong. A sudden, violent storm hit, ripping through the atmosphere like a vengeful god. The ship's systems failed one by one. Before he knew it, Adam was in freefall, tumbling through space, unable to regain control. He braced himself for impact, but when he woke, it wasn't the ship's wreckage that greeted him. Instead, Adam found himself lying on the cold, smooth surface of an alien ship, its interior bathed in soft, glowing lights. It was nothing like the technology he was used to. The walls were organic, like the living creatures of the deep ocean, pulsing gently as though breathing. He tried to move, but his body felt heavy, his muscles sluggish. A dull pain throbbed in his temples, and his vision swam. "You're awake," a voice said. It was calm and soothing, yet strangely unfamiliar. Adam turned his head, trying to focus on the figure standing before him. It was an alien, though it wasn't anything like the monstrous beings from the holovids. This one was graceful and serene, standing just a few feet away, her luminous skin shimmering in the dim light. "Where am I?" Adam asked, his voice hoarse. His mouth was dry, and it took all his strength to sit up. "You're safe," she replied simply, her voice carrying a hint of warmth. "You were hurt. You're aboard our ship now. My name is Zarya, and I'm a healer." Adam's heart raced. He'd encountered aliens before, brief, cautious meetings that left him with more questions than answers. But this was different. This was real. He was in the hands of an alien far from the familiar gravity of Earth. "My ship," Adam's words faltered. "The crash." "The storm was too powerful," Zarya interrupted gently, her large, glowing eyes studying him with a kind of clinical interest. "But you're lucky. We found you just in time. You've been unconscious for hours." Adam blinked, trying to process the words. He looked around, seeing no sign of his wrecked ship, just the strange, living architecture of the alien craft. His mind raced. What kind of ship was this? And how did they find him so quickly? "I don't understand," Adam murmured, leaning back against the soft, glowing wall. "How are you?" Zarya smiled faintly. "We are a peaceful species. We've been watching this planet for some time. Your ship's distress signal was easy to trace." "Watching?" Adam's eyebrows furrowed. "You were watching me, watching humans?" Zarya didn't answer immediately. Instead, she stepped closer, her bioluminescent skin casting soft patterns across the ship's walls. She extended her hand, holding a small device that looked like a miniature scanner. "I need to check your vitals," she said. "The serum I administered earlier should have stabilized you, but I need to be certain." Adam flinched at the mention of the serum. He hadn't even realized he had been injected. His mind had been too muddled with pain and confusion to recall the details of what had happened. Zarya, noticing his discomfort, reassured him. "The injection was necessary. You've been exposed to an alien toxin from the planet's atmosphere. The serum I gave you is meant to counteract it." Adam's stomach churned. He had no idea what she was talking about, but he trusted his survival instincts. He hadn't been given much of a choice. As Zarya moved the scanner across his chest, the room fell silent except for the faint hum of the ship. Adam couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. He had been rescued, but he felt strangely detached from everything. The reality of being in an alien vessel was starting to sink in. The way Zarya moved, the way she looked at him, it all felt surreal. "There is no need to worry," Zarya said, her voice soft, almost comforting. "You are safe now. Your body will heal quickly." Adam stared at her, trying to piece together what he was feeling. His chest had stopped aching, but there was something else, something unsettling in the pit of his stomach. He was recovering, but not in the way he expected. There was an unfamiliar energy in his veins. He could feel it humming beneath his skin, spreading through him like wildfire. "Your body is strong," Zarya continued, her tone almost approving. "It's responding to the serum in ways I didn't anticipate. It's rare for a human to survive this transformation." "Transformation?" Adam repeated, his voice rising in alarm. Yes, Zarya said slowly, her eyes locking onto his. You are changing. The serum is a catalyst. It's designed to adapt your body to the environment of this world. She hesitated, her gaze becoming more intense. But it's not meant for humans. It was never meant for humans. Adam recoiled, his heart pounding in his chest. What do you mean? What's happening to me? Zarya took a step back, her expression becoming unreadable. You will begin to experience things you don't understand. Changes, both physical and mental. Your body is not meant to withstand this kind of strain. It was never meant for this. Adam's head spun. He didn't know whether to trust her or to panic. Every word she spoke only deepened the confusion swirling inside him. He tried to focus, but the sensation of power building inside him was overwhelming. His body felt different, stronger, sharper. His senses were heightened and his muscles tingled with a newfound energy. His hands flexed involuntarily as though they could crush something with ease. I don't feel, Adam began, but Zarya interrupted him, her voice low and full of gravity. Humans weren't meant for this, she whispered, as if to herself. The serum, it wasn't designed for your kind. You should have died. But instead your body is evolving into something different, something dangerous. The words hung in the air, leaving a cold feeling in the pit of Adam's stomach. He wasn't sure whether to be afraid or in awe of what was happening. He had always wanted to push the limits of human potential, to see what could be achieved. But this was something else, something far beyond what he had imagined. Before he could respond, Zarya's gaze softened slightly, though her warning remained clear. We need to monitor your condition closely, she said. If we don't, the consequences could be, she trailed off, her expression unreadable. You need to trust us, Adam. Your survival is just the beginning. Adam stared at her, trying to make sense of everything she had just said. What did she mean by survival? What kind of transformation was she talking about? And most importantly, how would he survive what was coming next? Adam couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. His body was changing in ways he couldn't understand, and the woman who had saved him, Zarya, had just dropped a bombshell. The serum had started altering him, and he wasn't sure what that meant for his future. Was he going to lose himself? Or was he going to become something else? The alien ship, or whatever it was, seemed to be alive, constantly shifting and humming with a strange energy. It wasn't just the ship that felt different. He felt different. He could hear the low hum of the ship's engines vibrating through the walls, but more than that, he could hear things he never had before, subtle whispers, soft breathing. It was as though his senses were stretched beyond their normal limits, catching every detail, every movement. Zarya had left him alone for the time being, giving him a chance to rest. But resting was the last thing on Adam's mind. He couldn't stop thinking about what she had said. You are changing, she had warned. It's not meant for humans. He touched his chest, feeling the pulse of energy under his skin. It wasn't the usual rhythm of a heartbeat, but something deeper, more intense, something alien. A shiver ran down his spine, and he quickly pulled his hand away. What had this serum done to him? He rose to his feet, unsteady at first. His legs were stronger than they should have been, as though they could carry him for miles without tiring. He flexed his fingers, watching them move with more precision than he'd ever felt before. His grip tightened on a nearby metal railing, and it bent slightly under the pressure. Adam quickly let go, startled by the sudden strength in his hand. He took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. His mind was racing. He needed answers. If he was going to survive this, he had to understand what was happening to him. He made his way to the door, careful to stay quiet. He had no idea where he was going, but the instinct to explore, to learn, drove him forward. As he walked through the corridors of the alien ship, the strange sounds grew louder in his mind, like distant voices calling to him. It was as though the ship was alive, but it wasn't just the ship he could sense, it was everything around him. He reached a large chamber, its walls glowing softly with a bioluminescent light. In the center stood a console, sleek and unfamiliar, yet oddly intuitive. Adam hesitated, unsure whether to approach it, but something urged him forward. He reached out and touched the console. The moment his fingers made contact, the lights in the room flickered and the console activated. A holographic display shimmered in front of him, showing a map of the star system. A list of planets appeared, each marked with symbols he didn't recognize. He leaned in closer, studying the map. His heart skipped a beat as he saw Earth, marked in a corner of the map, small and insignificant compared to the sprawling network of stars and planets that surrounded it. As his eyes moved across the screen, he noticed something even more unsettling. Earth wasn't just small, it was isolated. Every other planet was connected by lines like pathways through the stars, while Earth sat alone, disconnected from the rest of the galaxy. "What is this?" he whispered, staring at the map in disbelief. Before he could make sense of it, he heard a soft sound behind him. He spun around, his heart pounding in his chest. Zarya stood in the doorway, her expression unreadable. "You shouldn't be here," she said, her voice firm yet strangely gentle. "This is not for your eyes." Adam took a step back, his pulse quickening. "What is this? Why is Earth? Why is it so isolated?" Zarya didn't answer right away. Instead, she walked toward the console and waved her hand in a fluid motion. The map disappeared, replaced by another series of images, alien landscapes, creatures, and technologies far beyond anything he had ever seen. Some of the creatures were magnificent, towering beings of light and energy, while others were bizarre, almost unrecognizable. "These are the beings that inhabit the galaxy," Zarya said quietly, her tone shifting from neutral to something more somber. "Your species, humans, are different. You are not like the others." Adam was confused. "Different how?" Zarya looked at him for a long moment before speaking. "You have potential," she said softly, her eyes softening. "But you are also fragile. You are not built for the kind of life that exists out here among the stars. This galaxy is dangerous, and you are not ready for it." Her words hit Adam like a punch to the gut. "So, you've been watching us?" he asked, his voice rising in frustration. "You've been watching humans this whole time, and now you're experimenting on me." Zarya's eyes flickered, and for a moment Adam thought he saw a flicker of guilt in her expression. "It's not like that. We didn't choose you. We didn't choose any human." "Then what do you want from me?" Adam asked, his anger growing. He was losing patience. "Why did you inject me with that serum? What was it supposed to do?" Zarya paused before answering. "It was meant to save you. You were dying, Adam. Your body couldn't handle the toxins from this planet. The serum was designed to adapt your biology, to make you stronger, to help you survive. But what you are becoming is unexpected." Adam could feel the anger and confusion welling up inside him. "What am I becoming?" Zarya took a deep breath, her gaze steady but filled with concern. "We never intended for humans to be part of this. Your species was never meant to leave your planet. You were never meant to be part of this galaxy. But now you have changed." She stepped closer, her bioluminescent skin glowing in the dim light. "You have become something else, Adam. You are no longer purely human." The weight of her words settled on him like a physical burden. He tried to comprehend what she was saying, but it was too much. His thoughts were scattered. The idea of becoming something other than human, something beyond what he knew, was terrifying. "I don't know if I can handle this," Adam said, his voice trembling slightly. "I don't know what I'm becoming." "You are becoming more than you ever imagined," Zarya said softly. "But you must be careful. The changes will accelerate, and with them your connection to humanity will begin to fade." Adam swallowed hard, the realization sinking in. He didn't know if he wanted to become something else. He didn't know if he wanted to leave his humanity behind. But Zarya's words echoed in his mind. "You must be careful." "What happens if I can't control it?" Adam asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Zarya didn't answer immediately. Instead, she turned and gestured toward the door. "Come with me," she said. "I'll show you what we've been trying to prevent, what your transformation could mean." Adam hesitated for a moment, but the pull of curiosity and fear drove him forward. He followed Zarya down another corridor, his mind racing with questions he didn't have answers to. What had he become? And what did the future hold for him? As they walked, he could feel the changes growing stronger, pulsating beneath his skin. He had no idea what was happening to him, but one thing was certain: his life, as he knew it, was over. What came next was a mystery. But he was ready to find out. Adam followed Zarya down the winding corridors of the alien ship, the strange energy inside him growing stronger with every step. The ship seemed to pulse, the walls flickering with light as though it was alive, reacting to his presence. It was like the ship itself could feel what was happening to him, like it was somehow connected to the changes inside him. The air felt different too. Thicker, more charged, as though every breath he took was more than just air. His senses were sharper than ever before. He could hear the soft hum of the ship's systems, feel the faint vibrations beneath his feet, and even smell the faint metallic scent of the walls. It was overwhelming, like every part of him was awake and alert, ready to experience things in a way he'd never known before. Zarya walked ahead, her movements fluid, as if she belonged in this place. He couldn't shake the feeling that she knew exactly what was happening to him and that she was hiding something. Every time she glanced back at him, her expression was unreadable, as though she was carefully measuring his every reaction. They reached a large room, its ceiling high and filled with soft, glowing light. In the center of the room stood a table, and on it were several containers filled with glowing liquid, different colors, different shades. Adam couldn't help but stare at them, his curiosity piqued. But Zarya didn't stop there. She led him to a wall where a series of panels lit up in response to her touch. "This is where we monitor the effects of the serum," Zarya explained, her voice calm, almost detached. "You are the first human to undergo this transformation. We have been monitoring other species for centuries, but humans were never part of the plan." Adam's mind raced. "What do you mean by not part of the plan? What was the plan?" Zarya didn't answer immediately. Instead, she activated one of the panels, and a series of images appeared. The first was of a small, simple planet, lush with life, yet simple. "This is your home," she said, pointing to the image of Earth. "It's a beautiful planet, but it's isolated. Your species has barely scratched the surface of what's out there." The images shifted to show more advanced civilizations, alien races with technologies far beyond anything humans had ever dreamed of. "We, my species, have watched you for a long time," Zarya continued. "We've studied your planet, your species, from afar, but we never intended for you to become part of the greater galaxy." Adam's heart pounded in his chest. "You've been watching us all this time? Why? What do you want from us?" Zarya turned away from the panel, her gaze softening. "We never wanted anything from you, but the serum, it was never meant for humans. You were never meant to evolve like this." "I'm not following you," Adam said, his frustration building. "What are you saying?" "What's happening to me?" Zarya paused for a long moment, her eyes filled with something that might have been sympathy or regret. "You're changing, and it's more than just physical changes. You are evolving in ways we didn't anticipate. Your species was never meant to handle such power. The serum was supposed to help you survive, but it's doing more than that. It's making you something else." Adam felt a chill run through him. He could already feel the changes inside him, the way his senses were heightened, how his body felt stronger than it had ever been. It was like a part of him was slipping away, replaced by something else, something alien, and it terrified him. "I don't want to change," Adam said, his voice hoarse. "I want to be human." Zarya looked at him with a kind of sadness. "You may want that, but it's not something you can control. Once the serum takes hold, there's no going back. You will become something more, something different. It's already started." Adam clenched his fists, feeling a surge of energy in his muscles. It wasn't anger that drove it, it was something else, something primal. The power inside him was growing, and he could feel it coursing through his veins, demanding to be unleashed. "Then why are you helping me?" he asked, his voice trembling with confusion and anger. "If this was never meant to happen, why not just let me die? Why keep me alive just to turn me into this?" Zarya stepped closer, her eyes soft with something that might have been pity. "We didn't want to see you die, and we didn't want this for you either, but now there's no way to reverse it. You're changing, Adam, and there's nothing we can do to stop it." Adam stepped back, his mind spinning. He didn't know what to believe anymore. The world he had known, the life he had lived, was slipping away, and he was powerless to stop it. Everything was changing, his body, his senses, even the way he saw the world. He couldn't trust his own thoughts anymore, couldn't trust the feelings racing through him. "What's going to happen to me?" Adam asked, his voice low. "What happens when the changes are complete?" Zarya hesitated. "We don't know. This transformation is unlike anything we've seen before. Your body is becoming something new, something powerful, but with that power comes danger. Your mind will struggle to keep up with the changes, and if you're not careful—" "What?" Adam demanded, his voice sharp with fear. "What will happen to me if I'm not careful?" Zarya's gaze was hard now, her expression unreadable. "You will lose yourself. You will become something unrecognizable, something dangerous, and that is why you cannot stay here. You must leave." "Leave," Adam's voice cracked. "Where am I supposed to go? I don't even know what's happening to me, let alone what's going to happen next." "You have to find a way to control it," Zarya said, her voice firm. "You have to learn how to live with the changes. If you don't, if you let the power consume you, you will destroy everything around you." Adam looked at her, his mind a whirl of confusion and fear. How was he supposed to control this power? How could he live with the changes when he didn't even understand them? He was losing control, and every moment felt like it was slipping through his fingers. "But I don't know how to stop it," he said quietly, almost pleading. "I don't know how to control this." Zarya's expression softened, and for the first time she reached out and placed a hand on his shoulder. "You will learn, you have to, because if you don't, you will become a danger, not just to yourself, but to everything around you." The weight of her words hit him like a physical blow. He felt like he was being crushed under the pressure of it all. His body was changing, his mind was struggling to keep up, and he didn't know how to stop it. He didn't know how to be human anymore. Zarya stepped back, her eyes never leaving his. "You have no choice now, Adam. This is your path. The only way forward is to learn how to control the power inside you. If you don't, you will lose yourself and everything you've ever known." Adam stood there, frozen, the weight of the situation bearing down on him. His world had just shattered, and he had no idea what the future held. But one thing was certain. He couldn't go back to the way things were. Whatever he was becoming, it was irreversible. And the only choice he had now was to learn how to live with it. Adam had always thought of himself as an ordinary man, a survivor, a wanderer among the stars, someone who explored the unknown. But now, standing in the heart of this alien ship, he realized how wrong he had been. His body, his mind, everything he thought he knew was no longer his own. The serum Zarya had injected him with had begun to transform him in ways that went beyond biology, beyond anything he could understand. The power inside him was growing, and with it, a feeling of detachment from his humanity. He couldn't remember the last time he'd felt completely himself. His senses were sharper, his thoughts clearer, but the more he adapted to the changes, the more he felt as though the person he had once been was slipping further away. Zarya's warnings echoed in his mind. "You must control it, Adam, or you will lose yourself." But how could he control something he didn't understand? He couldn't stop the changes. His body was no longer human in the way he had always known it. He had no idea how to hold on to the part of him that was still human, or even if there was anything left to hold on to. The ship had taken him deeper into the unknown, through corridors that twisted like living veins. Zarya had led him to a small chamber, one filled with strange devices and monitors, all flashing with data that made no sense to him. She had said this was where they studied the effects of the serum on other beings, but Adam couldn't shake the feeling that it was more than that. This place, this ship, felt like a place of testing, of experimentation, and he was the test subject. "Adam," Zarya's voice broke through his thoughts, "you're not alone in this." He turned to face her, his expression hardening. He wasn't sure if he trusted her anymore. She had saved him, yes, but she had also put him in this position. She had injected him with the serum, knowing the risks. And now she was telling him he wasn't alone. "What do you mean by that?" Adam asked, his voice low and sharp. Zarya paused, her glowing eyes meeting his. "You are not the first human we've encountered, your species. It has potential, but it's been dormant. Earth's isolation has kept you from evolving like the others." Adam's stomach churned. He didn't understand. "What are you talking about? Are there others like me?" Zarya nodded slowly. "Others who have undergone the transformation. Others who have evolved beyond their human limitations." "Others?" Adam repeated, feeling a growing sense of dread. "How many? Where are they?" "They are scattered," Zarya said softly. "Some are with us, some have rejected what they've become, but you're different. Your transformation is accelerating faster than we expected. Your body is adapting to the serum in a way we've never seen before. You may be able to survive in places where others have failed. You may be able to evolve even further, faster." Adam's mind was racing. His heart pounded in his chest. "And you think I want this?" he asked, his voice rising. "You think I want to become something else, something that's not human?" Zarya's expression softened. "I understand how you feel, I do, but you have no choice now. You can't go back to what you were. The transformation is irreversible, but that doesn't mean you have to be a monster." A monster. The word hit him harder than he expected. He had already begun to feel the power surging inside him, raw and uncontrollable, but hearing it said aloud made him feel like something was slipping away from him. What if Zarya was right? What if he was becoming something monstrous? What if he was already too far gone to turn back? "I don't know who I am anymore," Adam muttered, his voice breaking. "I don't even know if I can trust myself." Zarya stepped closer, her bioluminescent skin casting a soft light on him. "You're not alone, Adam. We can help you control the power inside you. We've helped others before. You don't have to do this by yourself." Adam looked into her eyes, searching for any sign of deception, but all he saw was sincerity. She believed what she was saying. She believed that they could help him. But how could he trust her after everything that had happened? She had brought him here. She had injected him with the serum. She had known the risks, and yet she still went ahead with it. Was she really trying to help him, or was she just another part of the experiment? "How do I know you're not just using me?" Adam asked, his voice low with suspicion. "How do I know you're not just trying to turn me into one of your experiments?" Zarya seemed taken aback by his question, but she didn't flinch. She only shook her head. "It's not like that. We're not trying to make you an experiment, Adam. You're different. You have something that the others, something I've never seen before." Adam's mind whirled. He wanted to believe her. Part of him wanted to trust her. But part of him felt like he was being led down a path he couldn't control. He could feel the power growing inside him like an uncontrollable force. And that power made him afraid. He was afraid of what he might become, afraid of losing himself completely. "I don't know what I am anymore," Adam whispered, his voice hoarse. "I don't know if I can handle this." Zarya looked at him with a kind of sorrow in her eyes. "You're stronger than you think, Adam. You just need to believe it." Adam turned away, his mind racing. He didn't know how to believe in something he couldn't control. He didn't know how to believe in himself when everything around him felt like it was changing, slipping out of his grasp. His body, his mind, his very identity, all of it was being twisted and reshaped into something new. And he didn't know if he could stop it. But as he stood there, alone in the chamber, he realized something. If he didn't learn to control it, he would lose himself. The power inside him would consume him, and he would become something unrecognizable. "I don't want to lose myself," he said, his voice barely above a whisper, "but I don't know how to stop it." "You don't have to stop it," Zarya said gently. "You just have to learn how to live with it, learn how to control it." Adam looked at her, searching for answers, but all he found was uncertainty. How could he control something he didn't understand? How could he hold on to the last remnants of his humanity when the very essence of who he was slipping away? "Help me," he said, his voice filled with desperation. "Please, show me how to control this." Zarya nodded, her expression determined. "We'll help you, Adam. But you have to trust us. You have to trust yourself." Adam closed his eyes for a moment, trying to gather his thoughts. He didn't know if he could trust Zarya, but right now, she was the only one who could help him. And if he didn't learn to control the power inside him, he would lose everything. He would become something else entirely. "I'll try," he said, his voice firming. "I'll try." Zarya gave him a small, reassuring smile. "That's all we ask." As she turned to leave the chamber, Adam stood there for a moment longer, his thoughts swirling. He didn't know what the future held. He didn't know if he could control the power inside him. But he knew one thing for certain: he couldn't do it alone. And if he wanted to hold on to what was left of himself, he had to learn to trust Zarya. He had to learn to trust the process, no matter how uncertain it was. But deep down, he wondered, could he really control the power within him? Or would it consume him just like it had consumed the others? Only time would tell. Adam felt as though time had slowed down. Every step he took, every breath he took, seemed more significant now. The power inside him was real. He could feel it every moment, like a constant hum beneath his skin. It was like nothing he had ever experienced, a force so overwhelming it seemed to control him instead of the other way around. His body had already begun to change, and with each passing day, the power was growing stronger. It was a part of him now, but so was the fear. Zarya had left him to figure out how to manage the changes, but Adam wasn't sure he could control something this unpredictable. The changes weren't just physical anymore, they were mental too. His thoughts were sharper, faster, but often chaotic, like he was trying to process 1,000 things at once. It was as though his mind had been opened to the universe in ways he wasn't ready for. His vision, his hearing, even his sense of smell had all intensified. Sometimes it was overwhelming. He could hear the hum of the ship's engines miles away, and he could smell the faint scent of fuel and metal even from the other side of the ship. The smallest noises, the most subtle movements in the air, were impossible to ignore. It was as if his mind was trying to process every detail of the world around him all at once, and failing. He sat alone in a small room aboard the alien ship, trying to meditate, trying to calm the storm that raged inside him. The alien technology in the ship was constantly buzzing, lights flashing, strange symbols flickering across screens. But none of it seemed real anymore. None of it mattered. What mattered now was learning how to control this power inside him, because if he didn't, everything would fall apart. He closed his eyes and focused on his breathing, trying to calm his racing thoughts. It was harder than he expected. The power was like a fire burning in his veins, a fire he couldn't control. He had to control it or it would consume him. He knew that much. The memory of Zarya's words echoed in his mind. "You are not alone in this. You are not the first to change, but you are different." What did she mean by that? Adam had never felt more alone in his life. He didn't know anyone who could help him. He didn't know anyone who had gone through what he was going through. The transformation had happened so quickly, so suddenly. One minute he was just a regular man, and the next he was a completely different being, struggling to hold on to the person he used to be. But there was one thing Adam had to admit. He had never felt so alive before. The power in him, as frightening as it was, made him feel invincible. It made him feel capable of anything. But that was part of the danger. He could feel it, the temptation to use the power recklessly, to give in to the urge to control everything around him. It wasn't just the power inside him that scared him. It was what came with it, the isolation, the distance between himself and everyone he used to know. He was no longer entirely human. He could feel the difference in every fiber of his being. His body, his mind, everything was changing. He had been alone for a long time, traveling between worlds, always on the move, always seeking the next adventure. But now, the isolation felt different. It was like he had crossed a line and there was no going back. He didn't know how to find the person he used to be. How could he, when the person he was becoming felt so foreign? He stood up from the bed, pacing the small room as he fought to push back the overwhelming sense of confusion and fear. The hum of the ship's engines filled the air around him, vibrating through the walls, like a constant reminder that everything around him was shifting. He needed to find control. He needed to understand what was happening to him before it tore him apart. A soft knock interrupted his thoughts, and the door to his room slid open. Zarya stepped inside, her calm presence offering a brief moment of comfort in the midst of his chaos. "How are you feeling?" she asked quietly, her glowing eyes studying him with a look of concern. Adam didn't know how to answer that question. He didn't know what he was feeling. He didn't know if he even knew who he was anymore. "I don't know," he said, his voice hoarse. "I don't know what I'm supposed to be feeling." Zarya nodded, her expression sympathetic. "The changes are harder for you than they were for others. The serum is affecting your body faster than we anticipated, but that doesn't mean you can't learn to control it." Adam felt a surge of frustration. "Control it," he repeated, his voice rising. "How am I supposed to control it? I can't even control myself. I don't even know who I am anymore." Zarya stepped closer, her gaze softening. "You are still you, Adam, but you have to let go of the fear. Fear will only make it harder. You have the power to adapt. You just have to trust yourself." He clenched his fists, the energy inside him pulsing in his veins, demanding to be unleashed. He could feel it, that raw power just beneath the surface, waiting for the slightest spark to ignite it. But he couldn't let that happen. He couldn't let himself be consumed by it. "I don't want to become a monster," Adam said, his voice cracking with emotion. "I don't want to lose myself." Zarya placed a hand gently on his arm. "You won't lose yourself, but you must learn to control the power. You are more than just the serum, Adam. You are more than just the changes happening inside you. You are still a human being, even if you don't feel like it right now." Adam looked at her, the weight of her words sinking in. "How do I control it?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Zarya met his gaze with a steady, determined expression. "By understanding it, by accepting what you are becoming, not fearing it. You have the strength to control the power inside you, but only if you trust yourself." Adam nodded slowly, though a part of him was still unsure. He didn't know if he could do this. He didn't know if he could keep the power inside him from breaking free, but Zarya was right. He had no other choice. He had to try. "You've already taken the first step," Zarya said softly. "Now let's take the next one together." Adam took a deep breath and closed his eyes, focusing on the sensation of the power coursing through him. It wasn't easy. It felt like trying to hold back an unstoppable force. But he had to try. He had to believe that he could control it. For the first time since this all started, Adam felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, he could do this. Maybe he could learn to control the power, to live with the changes and not let them consume him. And maybe, just maybe, he could find a way to hold on to the person he used to be.